Well, I'm sure you heard the news. CUSMA, USMCA, and TMAC are now in rolling annual reviews. One question is landing in my inbox more than another is, Jack, can the U.S. change the tariffs now? Can they raise them inside CUSMA whenever they want? Do we need a unanimous vote? What's actually stopping them? Great questions, honest. There are two parts to this answer, and most people are only hearing one. So, I'm Jack Jackson. This is Manufacture Daily. I ran a 34-year-old manufacturing company for 17 years, and I lived these experiences. So let me get started here. So inside the agreement, any change to tariff rates, rules of origin, or market access commitments requires unanimous consent from all three parties through the Free Trade Commission. Canada, the U.S., and Mexico all agreed that in writing. So no single country can unilaterally raise CUSMA, USMCA, or TMAC tariff rates. Can they tighten the rules of origin or remove a product from preferential treatment and while the enforcement's in agreement? So not the U.S., not Canada, not Mexico. CSIS, which is a Canadian government department, makes a critical distinction most commentary is missing, though. There's two complete different things. A review under Article 34.7 can clarify procedures and streamline implementation enacted through executive authority alone. No legislative ratification required. A renegotiation, what Washington is actually pushing for, the world would reopen the market access commitments. CSIS is explicit. Any move to reintroduce tariff or export limits inside CUSMA would almost be certainly require U.S. Congressional approval. So, inside CUSMA, unanimous consent required, four major changes, Congressional approved, as well as that's part one. But part two, there's outside CUSMA. Section 232, which I've talked about many times, which is a national security tariff that is outside CUSMA that currently holds 50% Canadian steel and aluminum exported into Canada or into the U.S., was applied on April 6, 2026. CUSMA cannot stop that one. The IEEPA, International Emergency Powers Act, the U.S. Supreme Court has struck that down, and but the 25% CUSMA non-compliant good tariff remains in place under separate authority. So the honest picture inside CUSMA, no unilateral tariff changes. Unanimous consent is required. Outside CUSMA, the U.S. has already been raising tariffs on using other legal authorities, and CUSMA provides a limited protection against these. And to be fair here, Canada has reciprocal tariffs, but we don't call them tariffs, we call them surtaxes. A little bit confusing. So annual reviews don't give any single country new unilateral powers inside CUSMA, but the negotiating pressure changes here. So under the annual reviews, the U.S. gets to come back to the table every 12 months, not to change tariffs unilaterally, but to say, agree to our changes or we trigger Article 34.6 and give 6 months notice of withdrawal. I don't think that's going to happen, but that's always on the table. That's sort of the last, if you want to really push somebody into the corner, then, but I don't. Anyways, I don't want to speculate here because I don't know politicians like all of us, right? So, if CUSMA is terminated, Canadian goods revert to the World Trade Organization, MFN, which is most favored nation rates, and CSIS, as I said, the government agency estimates tariffs on non-qualifying goods would raise somewhere to 10 to 25% if we went full withdrawal. That's the threat. That's way, I think, down the road, but we're only day two into where we are now. So, what do you need to do? Three things. Your CUSMA tariff-free status is protected as long as your CUSMA is enforced, but you need to be qualified. You need your certificate of origin. So many people I talk to don't know what their certificate of origin status is. You have to get on that. Section 232 and IEEPA tariffs outside of CUSMA, you have to understand that. That affects steel, aluminum, or your goods that are not CUSMA compliant. You are exposed to these tariffs, and if there's any origin of smelt issues, you're not going to get that money back. It's not refundable. And the withdrawal threat is real. I don't know. That's what they say, but I think that's just everybody trying to, chase the chicken down the road or something. I don't know. I don't know the explanation of that. So the manufacturer of this have manufacturers get ahead of this will have the exposure minimized, and we need to make sure that we are here to answer those questions. So give us a call, send us a quick email. Again, Jack Jackson, Manufacturers Daily. Like, subscribe, and we'll help you through this as we get to know it day by day. Thanks for listening.